Hi, I'm Ben, and today we'll be identifying the Way of the Astral Self monk. Tasha's Cauldron of Everything has included a myriad of new subclass options for the core classes in Dungeons & Dragons. And so this series will be taking a look at all of those, breaking them down, and giving my opinion on them. Now, I really think with the monk class in particular, Wizards of the Coast did a really great job of making new and unique options for the class that aren't really available with any other kind of build or archetype. And the Way of the Astral Self is no exception. This monk believes that their physical body is an illusion, that their true self exists in the astral, and they summon it down to their physical form to help them fight. Right out the gate, this archetype gives you such a defining feature. At 3rd level, you gain Arms of the Astral Self. As a bonus action, you can spend a key point and cause every creature of your choice within 10 feet of you to make a dex saving throw. Any creature that fails is dealt 2 dice of your martial arts damage die. On top of this, you get spectral arms that summon above or on top of your arms that give you a bunch of abilities. Whenever you make a strength check or strength saving throw, you can use your wisdom modifier in place of your strength modifier. These spectral arms can make unarmed strikes for you. And when they make these unarmed strikes, they can attack 5 feet greater than you would normally be able to reach. And on top of that extended reach, you can use your wisdom modifier in place of your strength or dex when making an attack with these arms, and they deal force damage instead of the normal damage type. Now already, as I mentioned, this is such a defining feature that sets this kind of monk away from any other kind. And the fact that they can activate this bonus action without losing any damage is really, really great. Now, if there's only one enemy near you when you activate this ability, you are kind of losing out as compared to Flurry of Blows on average. But if there are 2 or 3 or more bad guys within 10 feet of you when you activate this, you could actually potentially be dealing more damage on average than you would be dealing if you just activated Flurry of Blows. Another interesting part of this is the fact that it increases your range of your unarmed strikes when you use your arms. Because of the wording with this, it actually does stack with the Bugbear racial feature, which means that you could potentially attack people from 15 feet away with your fists, which is kind of nuts. Unfortunately, it doesn't work with the reach property of weapons, since it only applies to your unarmed strikes. And furthermore, because unarmed strikes are different than grapples, you can't grapple people from 10 feet away, unfortunately. That being said, it still lets you use your wisdom modifier for grappling, which sets up all sorts of new options for the monk. And I gotta say that force damage is cool, but it does kind of lose usefulness as you level up, because as soon as you get to 6th level, your fists are already magical anyway, so force ain't that special. Speaking of 6th level, that's when you get the next ability from this archetype called Visage of the Astral Self. I hope you're noticing a theme. As a bonus action, you can spend a key point, or as part of the bonus action, you would use to summon your Arms of the Astral Self. You can also summon the Visage of your Astral Self, which gives you abilities. So on top of everything we get with the arms, you can also see through magical and non-magical darkness to a range of 120 feet. You get advantage on insight checks and intimidation checks. And furthermore, you can either choose one person within 60 feet to hear you exclusively, nobody else can hear you when you speak, or you can extend your voice to reach out 600 feet so that everybody within that range can hear you. Now, no doubt being able to see through magical darkness is very, very useful, and that advantage on insight and intimidation is great. I love that all of a sudden the monk has an extra ability that lets them get an in a different pillar of play, being the social pillar. Monks often can kind of struggle outside of combat, not really having a lot of utility there. So any little bit that the monk class can get to sort of interact with the other parts of Dungeons and Dragons is always good. And while it is mostly flavor, the fact that you can pick one person and one person only to hear you, or everyone within 600 feet, I think only makes those advantage intimidation checks even better. I also really like that you can do this as part of the bonus action to summon your arms. I think Wizards of the Coast has really taken a look at their action economy with this book and has really streamlined it so that you can make sure you're seeing all of the parts of your class right from the get-go. The next thing this monk tradition gets is at 11th level, and it's called Body of the Astral Self. Now this works a little bit differently than the arms and the visage, because as long as you have both of those summoned, you can summon the body for no extra key cost and no action required. They figure you already got the arms, you already got the head, you might as well just connect the whole thing for free. This does give you 2 new abilities. The first is Deflect Energy, which lets you reduce acid, cold, fire, force, lightning, or thunder damage as a reaction by 1d10 plus your wisdom modifier when you would take it. The other is Empowered Arms, which once on each of your turns, when you deal unarmed strike damage, you can deal extra damage equal to your martial arts die. Now, these are both obviously really, really cool. I do have a little bit of a caveat with Deflect Energy. I just kind of wish it read almost exactly like Deflect Missiles. I wish it was 1d10 plus your wisdom modifier plus your level. I don't think that would have been too crazy at all, but I love the, for lack of a better term, energy of this ability. I think it's so cool that you can just thwack fire bolts out of the air or take a dragon's breath weapon to the face and just brush it off. Empowered Arms is obviously really nice too. Always love just a little bit extra damage. That being said though, this is the level where this monk starts to kind of take a turn for me from really flavorful abilities that add new mechanics to the game to just adding a flat mechanical boost without really bothering to try to change how monk works too much. This brings us to the capstone feature of this tradition called Awakened Astral Self. Now for this, as a bonus action, you can spend 5 key points, count them, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you get your arms, you get your visage, you get your body, and you awaken it. And when it is awakened, you get the following benefits. You get a +2 to your AC, and whenever you use your extra attack feature to attack twice, you can instead attack 3 times. Now, I'm gonna be frank. I cannot look at you sitting there at home and tell you, good viewer, that that is bad. +2 to AC, of course it's good. Attacking again, of course it's good. But, I don't know, it just doesn't evoke the sort of feeling of summoning your whole astral self to fight for you in battle. I don't know, if I can be honest, it feels like it's just giving you a flat mechanical boost without giving you any of that sort of extra crunch that you could be getting from a subclass. Like I said, I can't say it's bad. The math would be against me, but for a capstone of this tradition, I wish it were, dare I say, a little bit more flavorful. My gripes aside, I can't help but love this archetype. It has such a cool flavor, and it's something that has so many pop culture comparisons. You've got your Scott Pilgrim, you've got your JoJo's, you've got your Avatar. It's all there. There's plenty to pull from inspiration-wise, and I love that in the class description, they give a really nice little blurb about ideas for how your astral self might form. Whether if you're like a weak little monk, maybe a big minotaur form pops up that punches guys for you. And it's already got my brain working about how it maybe instead of arms, you have spectral spirits that come help you fight. The opportunities are endless with this. I will also say that this archetype really helps the monk because it can have a lot of trouble. It's a multi-ability score dependent class, so it can have trouble juggling all of those. And if you really want to be good at your stunning strikes, if you want to be better at wisdom saving throws, then you can take this archetype and be able to totally focus on your wisdom, kind of putting dex to the wayside a little bit, and you'll miss out a little bit on your dex saving throws, you'll miss out a little bit on initiative, but the advantages can't be ignored. Now, we'll identify the Fey Wanderer a little later, but to give you a little taste, at 3rd level, the Fey Wanderer lets you add your wisdom modifier to all charisma checks. Now, the Way of the Astral Self monk is already focusing on wisdom, so these two work really well together. And then if you want, you can take Druidic Warrior as a fighting style, and you can pick up Shillelagh for those moments where you run out of key points, and otherwise you would have to use your dex instead of your wisdom. These two synergize really well together, and with all the new options available to the Ranger, it really complements the monk pretty well. All in all, I love the Way of the Astral Self monk. I can't wait to play one, and my final ranking for this monk tradition is 4 cauldrons out of 5. How would you rank the Way of the Astral Self monk? Do you disagree with some of the ideas I have? Let me know in the comments below. And if you made it this far, thank you so much. I can't tell you how much you've helped the channel already. If you want to help us out a little bit more, it wouldn't hurt if you liked the video. If you like what we do here, you could also consider subscribing. This has been Identify, and we'll see you on your next short rest.